Alright, today we are going to be identifying factors and multiples, including common factors and common multiples. These notes are mainly over the factors. So that's what we'll be talking about today. For the vocabulary, the first word is common factors. Common factors are factors that are shared by two or more numbers. So if we have the numbers 5 and 10, we know that the numbers that will multiply to get us 5 are 1 times 5. And that's it. Nothing else will divide evenly into 5. So if we have the number 10, we know that we would have 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. So the common factors are 1 and 5. So their common factors are 1 and 5. Now the greatest common factor is the largest of the common factors of two or more numbers. So if we look at our common factors 1 and 5, we know that the greatest or the biggest number out of those two is the 5. So our greatest common factor would be the number 5. And we will go more into this as we work out some examples. We are going to actually go through the steps to solve one of these greatest common factor problems. So if you skip down to the portion of your notes that says steps to solve, that is where we will be looking. Now, the first step is to list the factors vertically. And as you'll recall, vertically means top to bottom. The second step is going to be to circle the common factors. So the numbers that both charts have in common are the common factors. And third, we are going to take the largest number that both have in common, and that is going to be your GCF. Now you're going to see that this is abbreviated, GCF. You'll see that pretty often. It simply means greatest common factor in a shortened version. So let's work out an example. The first example says to identify the common factors of 16 and 24. So what I like to do is make myself a T-chart under my number so that I can divide my factors up properly. And I know that factors are numbers multiplied together. So we're always going to start with 1 times the number itself, because we know that 1 times 16 equals 16. We also know that 2 times 8 equals 16, as well as 4 times 4 will give us 16. So we've kind of met in the middle here, and we don't need to worry about this number anymore at all. So we're going to skip over to the 24, and we're going to do the same thing, make a T-chart, and start out with 1 times the number itself. So we have 1 times 24 equals 24. 2 times 12 equals 24. 3 times 8 equals 24. And 4 times 6 equals 24. So now that we have the factors of each number, we can go and find which ones they have in common. We see that both of our charts have a 1. They both have a 2. They both have a 4. And they both have an 8. So we know that the common factors of 16 and 24 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. But of those common factors, our greatest common factor is 8, because it is the biggest number. Now, I want you to give the next one a try, and then we will check it together. It says to find the GCF of 18 and 30. Alright, so finding the GCF of 18 and 30. We know that the first thing that we are going to do is go ahead and make a T-chart again. So under the 18, I've made my chart. And we always start with 1 times the number itself. So we know that 1 times 18 gives us 18. We know that 2 times 9 gives us 18. And we know that 3 times 6 gives us 18. For the number 30, we're going to do the same thing. Make our chart and start out with 1 times the number itself. 1 times 30 is 30. 2 times 15 equals 30. 3 times 10 equals 30. And 5 times 6 equals 30. So in this one, we're going to go back and look and see which numbers they have in common. They have 1s, they have 2s, they have 3s, and they have 6s. So we know that the common factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. Of these common factors, we know that the greatest or the largest number is 6. We're going to try some word problems now and see how these may be written when you see them in class. So our first problem says, which of the following pairs of numbers have common factors of 2 and 3? So we know that our keywords here are common factors and our numbers 2 and 3. So in this case, we're going to have to experiment with our answer choices. And the first of those, letter A, gives us 6 and 9. So we're going to make our charts. And we know that we're going to start out with 1 times the number itself. So 1 times 6 gives us 6. And 2 times 3 gives us 6. For the number 9, we have 1 times 9 is 9. And 3 times 3 is 9. So if we look at our common factors, we have 1s. We have 3s, and that would be it. So if we have 1s and 3s in common, 1 and 3, we know that we're looking for 2 and 3, so we can immediately eliminate letter A. And I'm going to go ahead and cross out our work for A since it proved wrong. Let's try out B. B gives us 12 and 15. So we'll do the same thing with our chart. For 12, we have 1 times 12. We have 2 times 6 is 12. And we have 3 times 4 is 12. For 15, we have 1 times 15 is 15. And we have 3 times 5 is 15. So they have 1s in common, they have 3s in common, and that would be it. So knowing that they have 1s and 3s, that doesn't match up with our 2 and 3 that we need. So we're going to go ahead and cross out B and mark out our work so we don't get confused. Next we have 18 and 24. So if we have 18 and 24, we know that 1 times 18 is 18, 2 times 9 is 18, and 3 times 6 is 18. For the number 24, we have 1 times 24 is 24, 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 8 is 24. And 4 times 6 is 24. So they have 1s, 2s, 3s, 6s, and that would be it that they have in common. Now, of those numbers, we do see that they have a 2 and a 3 in common, which is what we're looking for. So we know that C is probably going to be our answer here. What I want you to do is check D and prove it either right or wrong. Have that ready to discuss in class tomorrow. Now for one more word problem. So this one says that Miranda is completing her math homework and she needs to simplify the fraction 24/60ths. What is the greatest common factor of 24 and 60 that she can use to simplify the fraction? So first we identify our question. What is the greatest common factor of 24 and 60? So we know that we immediately need to go ahead and list 24 and 60 so that we can put it into a T-chart. So for the number 24, we start out with 1 times the number itself. We know that 2 times 12 is 24. We know that 3 times 8 is 24. And we know that 4 times 6 gives us 24. For the number 60, we have 1 times 60 is 60. We have 2 times 30 is 60. We have 3 times 20 is 60. We have 4 times 15 is 60. 5 times 12 is 60. And 6 times 10 is 60. So looking at those numbers, we see that they have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 6s, and 12s in common. So of those numbers that they have in common, we see that the greatest is 12. So the greatest common factor that Miranda can use to simplify her fraction is going to be the number 12. Now, I need you to go to our class Moodle, and I need you to journal your summary for this set of notes.